Might come to a shock to some of the viewers, but Ashley and I have not always agreed on everything. And we're probably going to talk on a couple topics that we don't align eye to eye on. Let's talk about the election. And I want to acknowledge that we're trained as humans to not talk about that. Or in our profession, we're trained not to talk about our positions and our beliefs, whether it's political or religious beliefs. Not that I feel that all of us have to align on any of those beliefs, but I'm comfortable voicing my viewpoint and where I see it at. Doesn't mean that she's right and I'm wrong, because obviously we know that I'm always right. It means that we each have our own viewpoints and our own opinions. Yeah.
August 4th, primary here in Missouri. Our little corner of the world, if you want to stay in your local positions, you have to vote in that primary. That just is what it is. This year especially, we've got 4 ballot measures, 4 amendments on our primary election this year.
I think a couple of them are strongly misrepresented. I feel like it's what they're doing with 4 and 5 years. This is where they try to sneak in.
Yeah, it's hard to not feel that way, because they could have easily
Agreed.
waited until the general election in November. Amendment 4 is getting a lot of press right now because it addresses our citizen initiative petition here in Missouri. And I think first off, it's important to remind folks that we still have, as citizens, a lot of power in the state of Missouri. We are able to collect signatures and put an item on the ballot without necessarily the blessing of the General Assembly. And not every state has something like that. So as it stands right now, if we get a ballot measure to the ballot via citizens initiative petition, that can be passed by a simple majority. Amendment 4 is seeking to take away that power and rearrange the way that it's done. So if this were to pass, then on those citizen initiative items, they would require a majority of each congressional district, not a simple majority across the state.
It's one person, one vote. I think that's key for everyone looking at it. That's a concern for me on the measure itself, and that the politicians themselves are not following the same protocol. That's a red flag.
I think another couple of important clarifications are the law already states that those signatures on the petitions must be from valid, registered voters in Missouri, not holding themselves to the same standard that they're asking to hold us to. Is, I mean, they're trusting themselves, but not us, is essentially what they're saying.
Yeah, as long as you trust a politician fully, then I guess you can support it. And if you don't, or you question them after they get there and drink the Kool-Aid, then I would encourage a no on 4. That's where I stand.
Absolutely, a no on 4. Tell me what you think about Amendment 5.
I think they're doing a great job selling it to the voter. Sounds great. Pay less tax. That's one of the facts of life. We'll die and we'll pay tax. That's plain and simple.
You know, they already have the power to take away income tax without Amendment 5.
Honestly, I did not know that, truthfully.
Yeah.
But we're talking about $8.5 billion in revenue, and it has to come from somewhere. What else is attached to 5?
The everything tax. This amendment would remove the provisions that we have in the Constitution here in Missouri that requires them to get our approval.
There are 4 or 5 initiatives that get erased.
The Hancock Amendment, which has its roots here in Southwest Missouri. This amendment would essentially forfeit that.
2010, the Missouri Realtors passed the no tax on the sale of a home.
Yep.
We're not talking about our job, our profession. We're talking about when the property transfers from one generation to the next. That is also a taxable item without this in place.
And we don't have those in Missouri. So I think a lot of Missourians aren't aware of what that is or what it looks like. I worked in the title industry in Florida. We had doc stamps on the deed and intangible taxes on the mortgage. And so that means every time you had a transaction, buyers and sellers were paying taxes to their county and state governments based upon buying and selling of property.
On the Missouri Realtor one and passed in 2010, I like the stats attached to it. It had the highest approval or highest success pass rate of 83.7 approval rate on it. That's not a red or a blue. That's not a green question. It is a 83.7% approval pass on that. And this Amendment 5 does away with that. So the idea of doing away with something that had such a high success rate by the voters is a huge red flag.
The voters explicitly stating, we don't
want this. Right. And then the newest one, 2016, no tax on service provided. This is something that affects
Sales tax on services. That was a big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
just 10 years ago.
It wasn't that long ago. Some of us may not recall it or work in a different industry, but when we talk about taxing service providers, finding someone to do a roof or plumbing or HVAC, that list is not a mile long, and you start taxing those services, and that list will vanish. You'll have several go out of business. I mean, plain and simple. I'm disappointed in the governor to have such a strong stance in support of it. I'm disappointed on how misleading the ads are in favor of it. There's so much garbage attached to Amendment 5, I feel like, that it would be detrimental to our state.
A large majority of our citizens are not paying incredibly high amounts of state income tax. They're selling it as this idea of, well, you get to control your tax bill when you have higher taxes on necessities, on household goods, on groceries, on services, when your car breaks down, when the septic system needs reworked, and that's already expensive. Those expenses take up a much larger portion of the budget of the average Missourian than they do on the people who are going to see any benefit from this.
If it's a positive, it is to the wealthiest individuals in the state. If it affects someone the hardest, I think it affects the middle class the hardest.
Yeah, now is where Missourians stand up and say, we're smarter than this, and it's not red or blue. This is bad for Missouri and bad for Missourians.
I agree. Hope that it tanks and it fails so much to wake up. I'm going to say our governor. I know there's more people attached. I know our local representatives also approved it when it was coming through. And I think it's a great time for us to make a stance as voters and say no.
So many reasons. A hard no on 5 for me. Amendment 1 is on the ballot. I'm going to encourage you. It's a big, big, big yes on Amendment 1. It's nice to have something that we're supporting instead of opposing.
I know it kind of goes against the vibe of the room so far, but I agree with you.
How many states in these United States of America?
50.
Correct. Okay. Out of that 50, how many of them do not charge folks an entry fee into their state parks?
Let's say 15.
It's 10 or 11. And Missouri's one of them. Like right now, you drive down the mile-long bridge and just pull into Stockton State Park, and there's no gate, no entry fee, the walking trails, the swimming beaches. You have use fees for the ramps and the beaches.
A very small percentage of the tax allows you to pull up to the walking trails 7 days a week, get out with your dog, your friends, your family.
It comes up every 10 years, and it's time for that. And so they're just asking us to renew that. And so I'm going to encourage you. It's a big, big, big yes on Amendment 1.